Hello there folks, this is Sullla once again. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. I think that what I'm going to do is start a separate YouTube playlist specifically for Teamfight Tactics videos, and I'm going to go back and retroactively call the previous video Teamfight Tactics 1 and this one Teamfight Tactics 2. This is taken from a normal game. I am just queued up here. I think that this is about the 5th or 6th game of Teamfight Tactics that I've done. I just want to mention on the starting screen, now I don't know if you saw it there, but there was one player here who had the platinum borders. That is Morticius, who has like the little cat icon. So we will talk more about that player as the game goes on, but he's clearly a higher rank than the other players. So this is pre-recorded. Unfortunately, there's no replay feature for Teamfight Tactics, so this is pre-recorded. Keep that in mind. I'm doing the post-commentary. I wanted to go for the BF sword on the initial starting carousel. I wasn't able to get the BF sword. Generally speaking, you want to go for items on the initial carousel because champions are relatively easy to roll. The items you can are either random or you get them from the carousel. So usually you want to pick for items, not for champions. But wasn't able to get that. One of the other players grabbed the BF sword, so I ended up actually picking for a champion, and I went for the Lissandra out of the options that were left over. And in fact, this video is going to be pretty heavily focused on Lissandra as a champion. So I'm going to be talking a fair bit about her. Again, this is Teamfight Tactics, not normal League of Legends, but Lissandra as a Teamfight Tactics champion here. So this is the beginning, opening rounds. If you want more on the basics for Teamfight Tactics, the first video I did in this series talks more about like how the game is played. So I'm going to do a little bit less focus on that and assume kind of for this video that you are familiar with the basic setup for how Teamfight Tactics works. Alright, a little bit about Lissandra. Lissandra is a 2-cost unit, so 2 gold cost to purchase. She is Glacial Elementalist, and those are 2 traits that don't really work especially well in the early game. There are not very many units that get you Glacial in the early game. The only unit that you can get Glacial on early on would be Braum is another 2-cost unit. He's Glacial and Knight. And it doesn't really work that well as an early game ability. Similarly, Elementalist, you need 3 units to get that. I believe that there are no 1-cost units that have Elementalist, so it's kind of hard to pick that up. Elementalist gives you an additional, like, Golem that goes in. It's Ivern's Daisy gets thrown in when you get the 3 Elementalists. So her abilities do not set up very well for the early game. However, Lissandra is considered to be one of the best carries out of the 2-cost units. Like, you can use her into late game, and she actually can be quite strong. It's like a late game option if you can get the right items on her. So far, I've just been picking up like random champions. That's what you want to do in the early first couple levels here when you're up against the minions for the first 3 stages. Just pick up champions, wait to see what you get. You can basically like make a comp depending on what you get. I have continued to run Lissandra as a 2-cost unit, and then I also picked up a random Zed. That gets me the ninja buff, so I just toss him in there, and we'll see if I can make a unit. Now, I did get a Lissandra from one of the minion drops, and then I get another Lissandra there, so that takes me up to Liz 2-star almost immediately, and I'm like, well, I'm playing the Lissandra comp here. I get the Lissandra 2-star right away, so we're going to be looking to play a Lissandra setup here. Now, the problem is I don't really have anything else here. I've got a Zed, so I pick up the ninja buff. Again, ninja, if you're not familiar with this, you get the ninja buff if you have 1 ninja or 4 ninjas. You don't get it if you have 2 or 3 ninjas. Kind of a little bit odd there. So I've just gone ahead and put the Zed in, and then I'm like, Warwick? Like, I can't make any other unit here. Now, I realize retroactively that maybe I should have put in the Kha'Zix and the Kassadin, because that would get me Void as an option. Unfortunately here, things are not going terribly well, and I'm going to go ahead and lose this round. Yeah, so like I've got the Liz 2-star, but the problem is I don't really have anything to pair it with just yet. So you see me still trying to figure this out. Now I do end up getting 3 Vaynes. Again, Dana's no synergy with Lissandra whatsoever, but I'm just going to look to put the Vayne in just because it's a 2-star unit. And yeah, you see me here. I can put in these 2 units for Void, but that does mean I can't run the Vayne 2-star. So Void, what Void does is if you have 2 Void champions, it will pick out one of your Void champions, and they will deal true damage. If you get to the 4 Void buff, all your Void champions deal true damage. Now, I still have not leveled. If you've noticed, the first 2 opponents I played both have leveled here, so they both invested early gold into leveling to 4. I did not choose to do that. Alright, now keep an eye on Lissandra in this fight. She's going to get her ult off, and one of the things that Liz does is if she uses her ult at low health, then she ults herself. If she uses her ult at high health, then she ults an enemy champion, and you can see they get encased in like her glacial tomb. Again, similar to normal League of Legends. I lose the first 2 rounds. That's not great. This was actually played on a patch that came out after my previous video in this series. And one of the things that they did in that particular patch was to make losing the early rounds a little bit more punishing. You lose more health as compared to the previous patch. I'm actually in favor of that change. It was a little bit, you basically weren't taking very much damage at all when you lost rounds. You could just kind of it didn't really matter if you won or lost the first couple rounds. Now there actually is more of a penalty for losing the early rounds. Now this is a little bit unfortunate in the opponent that I get. I pull someone called Boon down, and he's already gone all the way to 5, so he has sunk a ton of gold into leveling. That's really not good practice. It does let him get 5 champions in here, and unfortunately that Graves is alive with 1 hit point. How much damage you take is based on how many enemy champions are alive. There is a flat amount of damage you always take, but there's also damage that you take based on how many of the enemy champions are alive. So that's a little bit unfortunate that I happened to hit the person who had already leveled to 5, which is not smart to do this early in the game. But this doesn't mean I get to pick first on the carousel, so I'm going to look to go ahead and grab. I can pretty much get anything I want, and I ended up going for the recurve bow. I didn't see any BF sword. Well, there was one BF over there, but as you can see, Morticius, who is the platinum player in this game, already grabbed it. It was on the other side of the carousel. Didn't really have a shot, so I went for the recurve bow. Recurve bows are very nice items. It provides attack speed, built into a lot of nice items, and you'll be seeing me make use of some of them as the game goes on. I figure I can make something good out of this. And I didn't see anything in terms of champions that I necessarily wanted there. Although in retrospect, I think it might have been better to pick up the Morgana. One of the things that I did earlier is I kind of shifted up my comp. I saw that I was getting Ahri and that I was getting Lulu there, so I was like, alright, well, I'm not really getting a lot of knights here. I guess I've gotten the Darius, but I haven't really gotten anything in the way of knights. I'm not really getting a lot in the way of brawlers. I was like, alright, maybe I go for the Yordle plus Sorks combination. Yordle Sorks tend to go together. Yordles, there are multiple Yordle champions that have Sork on them, so it's a pairing that has a lot of natural synergy. It is also a good pairing to go if you're getting a lot of items that are magic damage based. If you're getting items that are tiers, or you're getting the needlessly large rods, then it's a good way to go. So I'm going to be looking to head in that direction, more of an AP based setup as compared to my first game, where I was going, well, not my first game. My first game I put on YouTube, which was a Brawler plus Void setup. Brawler Void Assassin was the other one I showed, which was highly physical damage focused. I do actually win my first round there. One of the things that you saw me do was I went ahead and made Cursed Blade on Bane. That was the magic resist Negatron Cloak plus the attack speed. It's a pretty good item. It, as you said, attack speed, magic resistance, and you have a chance on every auto attack to shrink the champion that's being attacked, which actually removes one of their stars. So for example, if Lissandra was being hit, she was hit by the Curse Blade, she would go down to just 2 stars, or go down to 1 star from 2 stars, so it can be pretty nasty if it gets in there. Pretty good debuff. I went ahead and leveled to 5 there. It dropped me down to 10 gold, but it does allow me to get Sork buffed in play. Unfortunately, I am out-comped by this other comp here. Cokeban already has he has Wild Assassin in play. He also has significantly more 2-star units than I do. So I'm really reduced to just the Lissandra, but look, Lissandra's going to get off her self-ult, and is that going to be enough to win this round? No, but her getting off that self-ult does mean I don't take a lot of damage there, and that's quite nice. Like I said, if you're going to lose, you don't want to lose badly. And then I go ahead and make the Kassadin 2-star there. Now, Kassadin is maybe not the greatest fit for this comp. He does fit in the sense that he is a Sork. Kassadin is Void Sork. So that's why I'm keeping the Kazakhs around, so I can get Void if I put that in. I did randomly make a Darius 2-star, but the Darius just doesn't fit into this comp at all whatsoever. What I really want is to try to hit on some more of these 2-star Sork units, like Lulu 2-star, or if I could get the Ahri 2-star would be nice. Sork, I guess I should talk about what these do. Yordle, if you can get that buff, it gives your Yordle champions a chance to dodge incoming attacks. There's Lissandra getting off a nice self-ult again. So Yordles basically have dodge chance. How many of you remember the old dodge mechanic in League of Legends? So Yordles get dodge chance, they dodge incoming auto attacks. and the Sorks basically get additional ability power, so their spells deal more damage. Not their auto attacks, but their spells are more powerful. If you can get the 6 Sork buff, they really do a lot of damage, so that's something I might be trying to go towards in this game. But I get Vhagar here, and that's a nice pickup because I can sub out Ahri, who is Wild Sork, and put in Vhagar, who is Yordle Sork. So now I just need one more Yordle to get the Yordle buff in play. So my comp is still not there yet. It's starting to come together a little bit. I'm like looking for what items I can make. I don't really want Iceborne Gauntlet though, so I'll hold off for the moment. And I'll hold on to that Nico too. So, like I said, we're trying to go Yordle Sorks here. We don't really have the comp together yet. Like I said, I'm heading in that direction. Haven't quite made my comp. My econ is not great in this game. And in fact, look at me up against Morticius here. Now, I mentioned this is the plat player in the game. He is also at level 5, but look, he's sitting on 50 gold, so he is in much better shape than me right now. He also has some nice items sitting there. He already has a Giant Spell, or Giant Slayer, excuse me, on his Tryst. But Vhagar gets off a nice ult. And now Vayne, who I have put that Static Shiv on that I picked up from the last minion round, now Vayne's going to work, and she is going to have just barely enough damage to win this, which is good because, you know, Morticius is in much better shape because he's got a way better economy than me. So I kind of need something, I need to get wins where I can get them just to avoid losing more health. I'm like in the middle of the pack, but my comp is still going to take longer to get online. I need to roll more of these Yordle champs, and then I need to level up so I can get more of these buffs in play. So what else am I thinking about here? Well, the Vayne is not going to be in this comp long term, but I don't mind keeping the Vayne around for now. I am going to go ahead and drop Vhagar in favor of Morgana. I think that Morgana has more synergy for the team. Like, yeah, I don't get any additional buffs from either of them. The Varus that you see me hovering there is, I'd like to get Ranger buff in play if I can, because Vayne is got Ranger, Vayne is Noble Ranger. I'd like to get that Ranger buff in play if I can. They actually, Riot actually buffed the Ranger pretty significantly in this patch. They made it so the 2 Ranger buff gives a lot more attack speed. The 2 Ranger buff used to be 25% attack speed. They buffed it to 40% attack speed, so pretty big bonus. Unfortunately though, I just get slaughtered here by Destusto. I don't know how to pronounce that. Destusto. He was running a Knight setup, and I just didn't have enough damage to get through the damage reduction that Knights get. But I do manage to hit on Ahri 2-star there, so that's a nice pickup. You can sub out the Morg. And that's going to help me out because now I have, now 4 of my 5 units are up to 2-star. And I'm not too far away from hitting the next level. I am not going to level here for 2 reasons. Number 1, I'm 10 XP away. So if I level after this round, I can level with just 2 XP purchases. 4 gold for 4 XP, so if I'm 8 away, I can get it with 2 purchases. And we also have a carousel about to come up, so even if I lose this round, it's not terrible. It just means I get to pick earlier in the carousel. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose this one because Goondown is also running a Knight setup, and I really do not have a comp that's able to deal with this. Not yet. My Sorks are not dealing nearly enough damage, and my Vayne is, I mean, she's trying, but she is a one cost unit, so she's not that strong. And we just do not have the damage to deal with their front line. So the Knights just punch right through. I lose the round, as I expect. But I do get to pick first now on the carousel, so I'm looking here, and I was like, oh, Kennen, that's a good pick. And then like 1 second after picking Kennen, I was like, oh, really should have grabbed that Gnar. So I think Gnar would have been the better pickup. Gnar is also a Yordle, and also would bring a frontline tankiness. Gnar is Yordle and Shapeshifter. Really, really strong unit once he transforms. It's a great crowd control ultimate when he transforms. And that's really something I'm missing in this comp right now. I do not have much in the way of crowd control. Plus, Gnar came with a recurve bow, which is a really nice item, as opposed to the Kennen, who just has a Negatron Cloak. Negatron Cloak, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not as useful as an item. So I was like, that was probably a mistake, but if there is one good thing, I can go ahead and level to 6 now. I can put in Kennen, so that picks up Ninja buff. And look, I'm 1 Yordle away, so if I can get another Yordle in, I can get the Yordle buff. So I'm going to take out Kassadin for the time being. And so now I've finally got a little bit of a comp here. Yordle, Sork, Ninja. That's what I'm going towards. Kennen is Yordle plus Elementalist. So now if I can get 1 more Elementalist, I can get the Elementalist buff. And at that point, I really legitimately will be a business. So I'm still not there yet. I haven't made my comp. My econ has not been great in this game. I am in last place in health, so I would not say this is a great position. Right now, I am just trying to get a top 4 finish. Like, this is not a ranked game, so that doesn't matter that much, but I'm trying to treat it if it is. Lissandra gets off a nice ult there. She just barely gets her ult off before she runs out of health. And then that is enough for us to take down Surf Ghost there, who is, by the way, sitting on max gold and really should spend some of it. He should have leveled to 6 after that carousel. No reason to be sitting on 50 gold and lose around like that. He should have leveled, put in another unit, and just beaten me, which I think he could have done pretty easily there. I grabbed Trist there just for another Yordle, but I'm not really planning on putting Trist in. And in fact, I can sell Trist here and go from 39 gold to 40 gold, and then that'll keep me, allow me to get an extra gold after this upcoming round. So planning on doing that, although of course I will also get a point of gold if I win the next round, so I think I'm going to wait to see if I win this round to choose what to do. As far as items that I've got here, one of the problems in this game is I really don't have good items on Lissandra. Like, that's what I want. I want to get good items for Liz. What I want are items that build out of Blasting Wand and out of Tear. So I would love to get, like, our Morellonomicon. I would love to get a Seraph's Embrace. I wouldn't mind Death Cap, although that's not, like, my top pick here. One of my other items I really, really want is I would really like to get a Guardian Angel on her. So I have half of that. I have the Chain Vest. Guardian Angel is Chain Vest plus BF Sword. And by the way, I actually won that round, so I don't even have to sell Trist. I was not expecting to win that round, but that's another player who was econing. 1480502299 was econing pretty hard there. So I actually managed to win 2 rounds. I didn't really think I had much business winning. And now we get to the most interesting offer of the game. I get 3 Lissandras here. I was like, huh, that's weird. 3 Lissandras at once? I was like, you know, I could buy them, and that puts me relatively close to a Lissandra 3-star, which would be really nice. And you know what? I've got that Nico sitting there too. Nico, if you haven't seen this before, Nico gives you an additional copy of a champ. So, like, if I were to put it on Lissandra, I would get another 1-star Lissandra. So I'm not that far away. I just need 2 more Lissandras, and I can make a Lissandra 3-star, which would be really nice. That is a big-time carry unit. But yeah, that's an item that would be awfully nice to get. So I was like, alright, I'll spend the 6 gold, I'll pick that up. It does mean that it cuts into my income a little bit. And then on the next round, 2 more Lizzes, I'm like, oh my god. Of course, I almost put the Nico on Cassidon, but boom, there we go. Lissandra 3-star at level 6. So this is absurdly lucky to get 5 Lissandras literally in 2 rounds. And now I'm going to go ahead and level to 7. It cuts into my econ, but allows me to get in the Cassidon as well. But yeah, I mean, so, okay, yes, admittedly, I got super duper lucky here to get the Lissandra 3-star. But, you know, part of this game is taking advantage of what you get handed to you. And, you know, I was able to see that it was there and, you know, take advantage of it. So the 3-star is the top unit that you can make. Liz actually gets off a bad ult here. She barely hits anything. And in fact, she's going to get blown up here. And, you know, if Liz doesn't get off a good ult, I'm just going to lose the round. So why do I want a Guardian Angel so badly on Lissandra? Well, basically it allows her to drop aggression from the enemy team. Like, if they focus her and kill her, then Guardian Angel will, of course, bring her back to life again, and she will not have enemy aggression on her after that, so she'll be able to get off more uses of her ultimate. I also want to get tier items really badly, because that will cause her ult to go off more frequently. And I also want to get not Blasting Wand, Needlessly Large Rods, because that makes her ult deal more damage. But here I get another lovely roll. Because I have gone to early level 7, that means I can already pick up 5 cost units. They don't even start appearing until you hit level 7. So I actually get Anivia, like, immediately. And Anivia is Elementalist plus Glacial. So Anivia is literally the perfect unit for me to slot in here. She makes Elementalist for me, gets me up to 3 Elementalist, and she makes Glacial for me. Glacial units get a chance to freeze the opponent on their auto attacks. So I really have been able to make 2 things there. Note that Daisy is now in the game, and keep an eye on Lissandra. Well, I get Nard pretty badly there, but I just need my Liz ult to go off. She's very close to it. There it goes. Gets off that Entomb. You see the 554 damage. And look, Lissandra and Anivia just carrying me in that fight, doing pretty much all the damage. So now, like I said, I've kind of lucked into a comp here, but now that I finally have something that's reasonably strong, Elementalist, Yordle, Sork, Glacial, Ninja, now I'm in a position where I can sit back and finally start econing, which is what I would have liked to have done earlier, but if I just sat back and tried to econ, I would have died because my comp was not strong enough to absorb losses there. So I had to sink some money into leveling, I haven't actually had to do any re-rolling yet, which is good, but I did have to sink more money into leveling earlier than I would have liked. I'm continuing to check what these items make, but I don't want any of the items that these components make. Again, I'm looking for a BF Sword. I really would like to make Guardian Angel. I'm looking for something with mana on it or AP. Now watch Liz get off her ult here. Alright, I think she got off, yeah, right there. She does, yeah, she just, you know, absorbs all that damage, goes into the self-casted ult. She does, well, I was going to say she does fall there, but it looks like she survives the sliver, and again, deals 3,000 damage, more than the entire rest of my team put together there. So now I've got another carousel round, and I've got to think about what I want here. So I'm looking here, I'm like, oh, I'd really like that Swain plus Blast, Needlessly Large Rod. That would be fantastic. Unfortunately, that's gone, so I'll take the Kha'Zix instead. Cho also would not have been a bad pick here. Cho would get me another Void champion. Cho is, I believe, Demon plus Void. So I go for the item. Once again, normally, like I said, item is the way to go. Obviously, I don't need another Lissandra. I've already got Liz 3-star, so I don't need that. And now I'm going to look to try to make an item with this Needlessly Large Rod so that I can really accentuate the damage that my Lissandra is doing. She is my carry. I need to buff up damage on her. By the way, I also get I get a Brand here, who's another Elementalist, so that's nice, Demon Elementalist. And then I get a Kai'Sa here as well, which gives me a potential option to put her in. I was kind of thinking over whether to put her in or not. So I don't want to make Ionic Spark here. I want to make, let's see, I can make Rage Blade, or I can make Jeweled Gauntlet, and that's what I'd really like, the ability for spells to crit. So I want to make this, but in order to make the item, I actually have to drop it onto another champ, because if I try to put either item on Lissandra, she's got that cloak, it'll make a different item, so I have to make the item on a different unit. So now Liz's spells can critically strike. I believe it's 20% odds, but like, yeah, she just crits right there, 950. She actually did get her spell to crit. And yeah, I'm actually still going to lose the round here, which should tell you something about how strong Morticious is. Remember, Morticious is the plat player in this game. But how bad would that have been if I hadn't gotten her to crit on her spell? And you can see how close it is. I only just barely lost that. And here it's actually a good thing that one of the other matches is taking forever, because that gives me time to sit back and think, you know what, I should purchase Kai'Sa. Not purchasing her would be silly. Because I realized that, hey, you know what, even though I'm not running Assassin in this game, I could pick up Void buff, potentially, from Kai'Sa, and I could potentially pick up Ranger as well. Remember, I'm still at 1 out of 2 on Ranger buff, because I am getting Ranger from Vayne. Now, I'm never going to get the Noble buff. That's just not in the cards right for this particular game. But I could, like at level 8, I could potentially put Kai'Sa in, and then I pick up the Ranger buff on both Vayne and Kai'Sa, and that seems like it's pretty worthwhile to do. Plus, I still do have this recurve bow that I picked up earlier, and that's not an item that's going to help Lissandra. She doesn't need attack speed, but it would be great on Kai'Sa to get her some more attack speed. So I'm looking pretty good here. I'm liking the way this is going. I've got another unit to put in at level 8, and now we're up against Surf Goats. He's running a similar comp here. He also has kind of the Yordle plus Spark. But look, Liz is going to get off 2 ults, and she just destroys them. Look at that, 8,200 damage. Lissandra just totally wiped the floor with that match. And I think I lose that match if Liz does not have that Negatron cloak there. So, you know, that item doesn't really fit her that well, but it sure came in handy there because she survived with just a sliver of health to get off a second ult and then really just destroy that particular fight. I shall show them what it is. I go ahead and pick up Morgana there, and then immediately I was like, oh, hey, another Sork. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'm never going to get to 6 Sorks. Not with this comp here. I can't see getting up to 6. So I sell her. Probably should have kept her. Probably should have sold, yeah. See, I sell Braum because I realized, you know, I'm not going to put Braum in. It's unlikely I'm going to put him in, to say the least. So I go ahead and sell him off. Although, maybe in retrospect, should have held on. It's always good to have additional options. You just want to make sure you're over 50 gold if possible, because 50 gold is where you stop getting additional income for having money in the bank. Anyway, we've got a minion round here, so I'm going to look to level after this, look to roll down for some more champs. But look what I pick up there. I get another Nico, and I'm like, wow, another Nico? Well, there's Kai'Sa 2-star. And we're off and rolling, boys, and we get a BF sword. So I'm like, oh boy, there's so many things I could make here. Plus, we're going to hit Vhagar 2-star, we're going to get another Kennen, so let's level to 8. I'm going to put in Kai'Sa, that picks up the Ranger buff. Now, I can, if I want, get that Guardian Angel, but instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to make Giant Slayer, which is like the top AD item right now. Yeah, and I could make another Jeweled Gauntlet, but that doesn't seem that useful. I could make Ionic Spark. I was like, I don't really want this, but I want the Needlessly Large Rod on Lissandra, so alright, fine, we'll make it. Like I said, I don't love that item. Anyway, the Giant Slayer on Kai'Sa, Giant Slayer is attack speed plus AD, and it also causes the auto attacks to deal a percentage of the champion's max health on every auto attack. So now that we've upgraded our comp so significantly, now we're like very, very strong at this point. I was actually up against someone's Ghost. The reason why that happens is there's an odd number of players in the game, so sometimes when that happens, you get matched up against someone who's not actually there, But basically, you take damage if you lose, but you don't deal any damage if you win. So kind of sucks, but the only real way to deal with a situation like this. As you see me continuing to buy and then sell Morganas. But yeah, I mean, I'm really strong right now, so I can just sit back and I could look to econ and go to level 9 and then figure out what other unit I want to put in at level 9. Not exactly sure what that's going to be. I could always put in Kassadin at level 9. He would get me Void buff, and he would also pick up the Sorks buff for himself. Now, 4 Sorks isn't going to do anything, but getting that Void buff on Kai'Sa would be awful nice. So one of the things I'm trying to highlight with this video is, again, the importance of getting key items on your carry champions. Like, I'm really trying to accentuate getting the right items on Lissandra, and I'm going to try to do the same thing with my Kai'Sa as well. They are my 2 carries. Eventually, I will want to sell Vayne and replace her with like another late game carry, and then switch some of those items that are on Vayne over to Kai'Sa, because Kai'Sa's a 5-cost unit, Vayne's a 1-cost unit. And even though Goondown does have a pretty good comp there, we've just like accelerated at this point to better units, and I don't think his items were set up as well as they could have been either. I'd have to go back and look at what specifically he had, but I think he had some stuff on Lucian that didn't make 100% sense. So yeah, we haven't been getting much on these last couple rolls, and I mean, that's part of the game, right? Sometimes you get stuff that's really helpful, sometimes you get stuff that's not so helpful. So we're just, you know, we're not in any real danger. We're on a 3-game winning streak. We've been stronger than almost everyone we've been fighting. In fact, a lot of these rounds we've been winning pretty easily. So I'm happy just to sit back and relax. I am going to sell, well, I go ahead and sell those 2. I probably should not have sold the Kassadin. Looking back at this in retrospect, I think that was a mistake. I think I should have kept him around to get the Void buff on Kai'Sa. But it does get me to 50 gold, so there is that. By the way, I am still not on 2-star Kennen, and I'm also still not on 2-star Lulu. I've had 2 out of 3 Lulus like for the whole game. Anyway, this person is running, it looks like Wild Assassins, and gets off a good show ult, but I am able to get off a nice Veigar ult. And again, I've got the 2-star Kai'Sa and the 3-star Lissandra, and they're just carrying me. Plus, Cokevan is now out of money. He's rolled it down. He's out of gold, whereas I'm sitting on max gold with 50 in the bank. So he is probably not going to be sticking around too much longer. I mean, that happens sometimes. You go all in and you don't get what you need, and someone's just managed to roll out and get something ridiculous like Lissandra 3-star, like I did in this game. And who's going to lose this round? Let's see. It looks like Skull ended up losing that round. He was up against someone's ghost. Might have even been mine, actually. But he loses that round, and we're back to a carousel again. So I'm looking here, and I'm like, oh, the Yuumi. I really want the Yuumi on that Kindred. Yuumi will make another unit into Sork. I would love to make Lissandra into a Sork, because then she will pick up the Sork buff, which she is not getting right now. But unfortunately, Goondown goes ahead and steals that. I was like, ah. So I look here at what's available, and I was like, all right, well, I'll go for the Frozen Mallet instead. Frozen Mallet will add the Glacial buff to a unit, and I figure, you know what, it adds, I believe it's Spatula plus Giant's Belt, if I remember correctly. I was like, well, you know, it will add some additional health, and it will make Kai'Sa into a Glacial unit, which is not an ideal item. Let's be clear, this is not ideal. But, you know, putting Glacial Mallet, yeah, there, see, extra health, Glacial, it will mean that all of her auto attacks have a chance to freeze, and she gets a lot of them because she attacks really fast. Plus, I'm also only 1 away from Glacial too. So, like, if I could pick out 1 more unit with Glacial, then I would get up to the Glacial 4 buff, which is an increased chance. I believe it's 20% odds to freeze at Glacial 2, and I think it's 33% odds to freeze at Glacial 4. So, I was like, you know, that does put Glacial 4 into play, so... like I said, it's not the ideal item for Kai'Sa, but it's certainly not bad. Anyway, we're up against Sork Ghost. He's running a similar comp, Elementalist Sork, and Sorks, but we've just, you know, leveled to the point where we're stronger than him. His comp isn't even that bad. And is he going to survive? No, just barely gets taken out there. Yep, he could not deal with both the Lissandra and the Kai'Sa at the same time. Like I said, a little bit unfortunate for him, because his comp was not that bad. Anyway, so I am still trying to level towards 9. I'm going to pick up the poppies here, and then I see yet another Kai'Sa, and I'm like, you know, another Kai'Sa might not be bad. I could always put another Kai'Sa in at 9. That's not going to make any more units, but like Kai'Sa's a really strong unit, so sure, why not? Like, what I could always do is I could replace the Vayne with Kai'Sa if I wanted to. I would lose Ranger buff for doing that though, so I have to be a little bit careful, but like long term that would be the plan. Get rid of Vayne and stick in another Kai'Sa, because Kai'Sa's really good. So here we're up against Yordle Knights, so this is a very good defensive comp. Knights have that damage reduction incoming, Yordles have the chance to dodge auto attacks. The problem is it doesn't deal very well with spells, because, you know, Yordle Yordle does not dodge spells. So, like, this guy's able to tank, like, forever. This Tusto, like, you can see he's surviving, like, forever. But he can't really deal with my magic damage. So Lissandra is a real problem for him. So even though Kaisa not as effective in this particular round, yeah, Liz just gets off another crit. And you can see Liz 7,600 damage. Against someone who's running 6 Yordles, like this Tusto was doing there, that's a situation where magic damage is really the way to go, because Yordles can't dodge the spells. Not trying to repeat myself, but some of you know I was a former teacher, and one of the things you do when you're a teacher, if you're trying to get a point across, is you say it multiple times. Anyway, so we've got another minion round. We actually get a pretty nice item here, Bloodthirster. Again, not an ideal item for Kaisa, but certainly not a bad item. Ideally, you would get something like Giant Slayer, and then you would want one defensive item, something that gives her extra magic resistance, like Dragon's Claw, something like that. And then another attack speed, probably Rage Blade would be like the ideal other item. Giant Slayer, Rage Blade, and then a defensive item. But, you know, you're not going to get perfect items every game, and for a Kaisa 2, I'm willing to make use of this. Like, I'll just go ahead and use this. So we finally make Kennen 2. That's good to see. Kennen's been around forever, but he's finally able to get leveled up there. And then at this point, I'm going to level, and I was like, you know what? I can put Kaisa 2. I can put another Kaisa in. And now that I'm max level at level 9, I'm going to start rolling. I did pick up the Ash as well, and the reason why I picked up Ash is Glacial plus Ranger, so I could potentially like take the Vayne out and then put in Ash if I wanted to, and that would get me Glacial 4. I also go ahead and find another Anivia right there, so I'd love to get Anivia too, 2-star if possible. This is the same person we saw before, Assassin Wild Void Brawler. Like I said, it's a pretty solid comp, but I'm just stronger, and we actually just destroy Coke Van right there. The big problem there wasn't his comp per se, is that he was only level 7, and I was level 9, so I get 2 more champs in the game, and that really does make a difference. And of course, I've got a Kaisa 2-star who has strong items, and a Lissandra 3-star who has pretty good items, if not ideal. Still holding on to that Chain Vest in the hopes of getting another BF sword to make Guardian Angel for Liz's 3rd and final item. Yeah, there you go. Glacial, 20% chance to stun at 2 Glacial, 33% chance at 4 Glacial. Actually highlighted it there. So yeah, at this point, I'm just going to roll and look for more stuff, look for more items to try to fill out this comp. I'm actually out of room to store units here, so I'm going to go ahead, and what I should sell here is the Morgue, because Morgue is not going to go into this comp. Instead, I sell the brand, and then I'm ready to pick up another brand. It's like, alright. I'm also looking to get Narin. I would love to get Narin to this comp, but then I see the Anivia 2-star. It's like, alright, I'm going to get that. Now, unfortunately, I sell Ash to do it, and I was like, wait. I could have had Ash 2-star here too. Why didn't I sell the Poppies? So yeah, I make a mistake. I could have had Ash 2-star right there. I could take out the Vayne and put in Ash, and then just transfer the items over like the Kaisa. So making some mistakes there, but trying to work towards it. Note that I do get Hextech on my Lissandra there, so Lissandra's not going to do a whole lot in this fight. And in fact, without Lissandra using her items, I actually get beaten pretty badly by Morticious here. Remember, Morticious is the one player who has that plat ranking coming to this, so you can see how vulnerable I am to that Hextech. If I lose my items on Lissandra, well, it's not pretty for me, because Liz is still a big-time carry unit. Hextech actually did get did get nerfed in the patch that came out right before this, and say farewell to Destruo, who gets eliminated by Skull the puppy there. Hextech used to knock out items for 8 seconds. It was reduced to only 5 seconds, so a pretty serious nerf. One of the reasons why you're not going to see as many Hextech comps in this patch going forward. So anyway, I take out the Kaisa, I put in Ash, and then I hit on Ash 2-star anyway. So I am not punished for being an idiot and selling that, selling one of the Ashes earlier. So look at our comp, we're looking pretty good here. We've got the Elementalist, and now look, I can actually sell the Vayne and transfer these items over to Kaisa. And I'm also only 1 Kaisa away from another Kaisa 2-star, and holy cow, there it is. I'm like, oh my goodness. So at this point, I can lock for this, although I should probably just sell the Gnar and purchase it anyway. So we'll talk more about this in a minute. We're going up against, this is Skull here, I believe. I didn't see what comp he was running. It looks like he's got something with, it looks like he's got a Noble setup, if I'm reading this correctly. Now, he had a Varus 3-star there as well, with some pretty good items, and his Kale is doing work in protecting them, but the problem is, I've got the Kaisa with pretty darn good items, that with that Bloodthirster, Kaisa will never, ever, ever die, so that's going to be enough to win this. Well, it looks like Skull actually got eliminated against Morticious. I also should have unlocked there, but whatever. So now here we go. There's only 2 of us left. It's just me and Morticious, the platinum player in this game. So I'm looking for what I want, and I was like, oh, let's go for that Poppy because she's got a spatula, I was like, I bet I can make something useful out of this spatula here. I actually did not know what I could make out of it, but I was pretty sure I could make something out of it. So let's see what I can make. I can make mittens or knights. I was like, oh, mittens, that gets me another Yordle. Where is also Yordle, and it offers crit strike chance. So you know what? I can go ahead and I can put this on the Kaisa. So there we go. Now, having another Yordle does not add a buff for me. But what it does mean is it means that that Kaisa, my second Kaisa, has the Yordle buff. So that means she dodges incoming auto attacks. So yeah, I have 2 Kaisa 2-stars, both of them with pretty good items. And then I've still got the Lissandra 3-star here. So it's just me and Morticius now, the 2 of us. He's going to get a Hex-Tech on my Lissandra once again, which is good for him. But that means he's not Hex-Teching my Kaisa 2s. And with double Kaisa 2, there's not a lot he can do. They are just both flying around like crazy. I think one of them got taken out, but the other one is still alive. And like I said, I now have 3 carries. And it's a little bit tricky to deal with both of them. So we're rapidly running towards the end of the game. I just need to win one more round to win this. Morticius does have quite a bit of gold, and he probably should be spending that money. Like, there's no need to have 40 gold just sitting there. It's a one-on-one. He's going to lose if he loses one more round, he's going to be out of the game. So there's really no purpose to saving his money. But you can see my comp: 3 Elementals, 4 Glacial, 4 Yordle, 3 Sorks, 2 Ranger, 1 Ninja. I did sell Vayne and replace her with that second Kaisa too. So I was really happy with how this came together here at down the stretch of this game. Like I said, I got lucky with what I rolled. Getting the Liz 3 was obviously dumb luck. But overall, pretty happy with how this one turned out, and I thought that I did make good use of the items that I ended up getting in this game. So we lose Lissandra, she does end up falling here, but the Kaisas are both still alive, and double Kaisa 2 is just disgusting. It's going to carry really, really hard. They're also getting they're even getting the Glacial Frozen on their attack. So that's going to be it. GG to Morticius for a game well played. He had a pretty nasty comp as well, but ultimately I get the Liz 3, and that's enough. So, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Hope you enjoyed the taste of the Lissandra 3. I don't get 3-star units very often because it's kind of silly to roll for them, but in this particular game, I got one. And boy, oh boy, can it be effective. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you're enjoying the Teamfight Tactics videos, and I will see you guys again soon. Take care.